remember drinking like 6 or 7 sodas.
Damn.
Like that's a lot. You know, I just like went full
6,
on.
7.
Something like that, like,
Something like
6,
that.
7.
Yeah.
And
what's up, everybody? It's your boy Ibu, and we're back on another episode of, yeah, you guessed it, Runner on the Air. And I got my homeboy right here, special guest right here, Jacob Nagatani. Hey, feel free to share a little bit about yourself.
Of course. Glad to be here, sir. Obviously, you know my name, Jacob Nagatani. 21 years old, 4th year college student at the very own Cal State Bakersfield. Majoring in kinesiology, allied health. And yeah, let's get right into it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, Jacob, I see you got the Bears jersey on. Okay.
Of course, you know me.
Good win on, what was it, Monday night versus the Commies?
Yeah, great win.
Great win. Yeah, Luke McCaffrey scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
But, you know, DeAndre Swift, he was cooking. Caleb Williams was cooking.
Yes, sir.
I thought you guys lost it at one point, but then you guys came back and just
Jake
Moody. You know what I'm saying? How did you feel about that game, bro?
Felt great. You know, I think that was a culture win. I think it was great for the fan base, great for, you know, me as well as a fan to see the Bears win, especially on a Monday night. You know, I think it was a great game, you know, but just looking forward, you know, to the next one, to the season.
Who you guys got next, Ravens?
Pretty sure we got New Orleans this Sunday.
Oh, so, New Orleans?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
How you feel about that
one? Not to get my hopes up, just taking it day by day. Hopefully we get the win, you know.
Yep.
Don't want to be too overly optimistic like the Packer fans over here.
Hey, what you mean?
You know,
speaking of that.
Yeah, what is that?
My boy brought me a cheese grater, and when the Packers play the Bears, it's about to be a bear grater. You know, I don't know if that's a word, but we're going to change it to that. Appreciate you that. And I'm actually a half Packers, half Chiefs fan, you know. But listen, Bears win on Monday. Do you see them making playoffs at the end of the season?
I mean, I'm enjoying the wins at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, given the NFC, given the whole NFL at the moment, I think it's
a tough division too.
It's any given Sunday, you know. But I think as we keep stacking on wins and, you know, gaining momentum, I think we will.
Right. Now, you mentioned to me earlier too, before we shot, you got some Chicago history.
History, of course.
Grandparents got married there.
Tell me
about the Chicago history, brother.
Yeah, so on my Japanese side, I had, you know, 2 grandparents, you know, and they still mean a lot to me, you know, my everyday life and stuff like that. Sure. And the reasoning why they got married in Chicago was because of the concentration camps during that timeline.
Oh,
so they were locked up in Kansas, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Kansas or Missouri, one or the other.
Right.
And you know, they fell in love during the camps, and they're like, let's go get married in Chicago.
Dang, that's a beautiful story.
Because originally my grandma was she grew up out there in Chicago. Her family, I believe they owned condos. I think it was like a block or 2 blocks away from Wrigley Field, and Wrigley Field,
home of the Cubs.
Home of the Cubs, yeah. So there's a lot of historical history out there. So
that's fire, dude. Are you a Cubs fan too?
I mean, I'll support them if they make the playoffs. I wouldn't say I'm a big Cubs fan, but I have love for them. I mean, they're Chicago, so gotta be Chicago through and through, you know.
And another, you know, little fun fact: you're one of 3. You're a triplet.
Yeah,
which is crazy. Like, can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, of course. So, grew up in actually a family of 5 siblings. So I have 2 other siblings on top of my triplet siblings. Right. So there are 2 girls, 1 boy, and I happen to be the baby of it. So
there you go.
You know how it is.
Yes,
but honestly, like growing up, you know, I kind of thought of this like, man, what is it like to be a triplet? Because I get asked this on every day.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
like,
pretty rare. Like, you know,
it's rare. It's almost as rare, you know, seeing the Packers won the Super Bowl.
Oh man. Hey, 2011? That was the last time.
2010.
My bad. I was a year off. When's the last time the Bears?
We're working on it, but 85. We're working on it.
Hey, come on now.
But
yeah, that must have been, you know, pretty cool growing up, saying you're a triplet, like, you know.
Oh yeah, pretty cool. You know, when you see 3 human beings, you know, coming from the same mother, you kind of have to ask, like, you know, what's the deal?
Yeah.
But, you know, I look up to them. You know, my sisters, I love them so much. They're inspiration to me. So it's like a blessing in disguise, you know. But, I mean, growing up, man, there's so many things we would be doing when we were growing up.
Right.
Playing the Wii. You always had 3 players, so that was always great.
Yeah, that's true.
Playing tag was always fun as well.
I'm sure like that bond too is definitely more like just naturally like more of a connection because
mhm.
I mean age proximity, like you guys are all close in age. Are the other 2 siblings close in age too?
Yeah, they're I'd say like 3 years apart, 4 years apart. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it's like you had like built-in friends like from the get-go.
Oh yeah, they're my best friends for sure.
That's what's up. That's cool. And then in terms of like, do they go here as well?
They go somewhere else. They're in school at the moment.
Nice.
But I would say definitely a big inspiration to me for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they're like having your best friends, your best teammates,
Right.
all in one. So
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And with your path in kinesiology,
yeah,
you're 4th year, so you're almost towards the end here.
yeah.
What are you seeing, post graduation for the future?
Post graduation, obviously I'm going to go get my master's, exploring the options at the moment.
Right.
But I think the number one or the biggest thing for me at the moment is just to gain experience. Being able to apply the knowledge that I learn on a everyday basis.
Right.
To what I want to do, whether it's like physical therapy, athletic training. I'm kind of in the mix between the two, but I think the number one thing is just gaining knowledge, gain experience, and just kind of going with the flow about it.
I like that.
Yeah.
Is there like a dream environment you see yourself in, like doing like physical therapy for like maybe the Bears one day, or like any team in professional sports?
I mean, to get to the professional standpoint, I think that's the biggest dream. Definitely it's not an easy path for sure, but I mean, I'd be open to be, working for any professional sports team, anyone that wants to win, that cares about helping people. I think that's the number one reason why I went to kinesiology is I have a big heart to those, and I want to make a difference in people's lives. So, I mean, anywhere where they want to win, and make a difference, that's where I want to be for sure.
Right. I like that.
Yeah.
And how does that work? Like, what's the process look like? Is it like after your master's, you have to go like a certain school, get like certain credentials?
Yeah. So for athletic training, physical therapy, there are 2 completely different pathways.
Right.
Obviously, the credentials you gotta have like a master's, doctorate as well.
Wow.
But I think the number one thing that you have to have is that experience. You have to be able to get that experience in the clinical setting.
Mm-hmm.
You could get it on the field as well, but it's almost like a work in progress. Like it's not gonna happen like within next year. It's not gonna happen within the following year. It's kind of like you got to build towards it.
Build towards it, right?
Like handle business every week, every month. That type. Yeah.
So you're definitely like someone who you seem like you have a pretty packed schedule. You're always busy.
Mm-hmm.
How do you like balance that? Like, what's like your, I say, work-life balance? Because I feel like a lot of people nowadays, it's like they're usually stressed out,
Mm-hmm.
but you seem like you're pretty calm about it. Like, how do you balance your work, your life, your social life, your friends, everything?
I think it has to start at an early age. Growing up, sports were always prevalent in my life. I grew up, I wrestled, played football, did a little soccer growing up as well.
Hey, there you go.
So I was always out the house,
Yeah.
especially with my sisters. We were doing sports together. So, I mean, being in a athletic setting definitely, exposed me to, doing my homework on time,
Right.
Doing my chores,
Yeah.
making
Organization and everything, yeah.
Yeah, and then it kind of carries with you as you grow up,
Right.
But, I mean, you just got to prioritize the things that are really important to you, kind of have to keep your head in a, like a positive level.
Right.
But honestly, like I kind of asked myself that question too, like how do I balance so many things? But I just do. I just felt like it was kind of ingrained into me, like
Right.
at a young age for sure.
I like that.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned these sports. Growing up, which one was your favorite one?
Man, that's a great question.
'Cause it's a lot. You played a lot,
To watch or to do, because there's like so many like.
We could do both. Like, which one was your favorite to watch? Which one was your favorite to play?
To watch, I would say football. Football was just always natural to me.
It was fun watching that growing up.
Yeah. But to like actually like do and like to learn the mechanics, it was probably wrestling. It was fun. Yeah.
You wrestled like all throughout like high school?
I wrestled since the age of, I want to say I was like 5 or 6.
Dang.
So I've been wrestling since I was pretty young.
Yeah. All right. Talk to me about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of crazy like how I got into like to wrestling and the sport itself. You know, I remember like I was at my older sister's softball game and I had to go use the restroom, and, you know, the restroom was like in the gym. Yeah. And so, you know, me being this 5 or 6 year old kid, I'm like scurrying around the gym trying to find a restroom. And, you know, next thing you know, I come across a wrestling room. I see guys getting slammed, and, you know, it was kind of like a sweaty environment, you know, like not the greatest environment. But, you know, I think that was like one of the first times it was like I was hooked on it. You know, because originally my parents or my dad, he was like, maybe you should play soccer, and I was like, nah, soccer's a little too not rough, or like, you know, you get what I mean.
I know what you mean.
But like, nah, it was kind of like love at first sight. Like, obviously I wasn't great at it at first. I'll kind of admit on here, one of my first matches I ended up losing. I lost to a girl.
Nah, for real? What was that?
Actually, I was like 5 or 6. But
I mean, that's where you at.
Yeah, I remember that was like one of my first experience wrestling. I remember getting like it was like a like a headlock or something, getting thrown on my back.
Oh, that's crazy.
But that was like one of the first experiences I had in wrestling, and obviously I could have called it quits right there, like, you know, lost to a girl and all that. But I just like fell in love with like the team energy. You know, my coaches, I think they really had like a positive like impact on my life. They still do. And like just what the sport alone teaches you, like taught me about discipline, taught me about perseverance, you know, humility, celebrating the wins, you know, being humble, you know, wins and losses. But I think all those things, you know, all those elements that I learned early on kind of transpired to the life that I live today.
Right. And I feel like there's also like an element of discipline in there too, because
for sure,
I mean, being a wrestler is not, you can't just mess around. Like, you know, you got to make weight. You got to eat right. You got to make sure you're not, you know, slacking off, because 1 pound can make a difference. 1
pound, yeah.
Yeah, how was that like, you know, that discipline and during your wrestling time?
Man, I think it was, I wouldn't say it's rough. I mean, you kind of like sign yourself up for it, you know, so I was all in by any means to, you know, contribute to wins, you know, for myself or my team. I was willing to do it. You know, I think the worst part about like weight cutting alone was like during Thanksgiving, during Christmas time. You know, you have like all those like great meals. And
you couldn't eat those.
Yeah, pretty much. Man. I actually have a weight cutting.
Mashed potatoes.
Yeah, I had a weight cutting story. So like, I remember it was like my sophomore year, and I wanted to indulge. You know, I wanted to eat some Thanksgiving food, so I went ahead and did it. I remember drinking like 6 or 7 sodas.
Damn.
Like that's a lot. You know, I just like went full
6,
on.
7.
Something like that, like,
so like
6,
that.
7.
Yeah.
And I remember like I had a I believe like a tournament that weekend. Ooh. And I tried to cut 15 pounds in 3 days.
Huh?
Yeah.
Brother.
And that's
15 pounds in 3 days.
And that's obviously like not the smartest decision.
Yeah, we gotta too much dip on your chip there.
For sure. So I remember coming into practice like super heavy and had to get the weight down. And I think I was like about like a pound off. Like
Dang, so you almost did it.
The morning of the tournament, and I was like, nah, like I can't like go any longer. I was like I think I was like 6 ounces away. So I had to like go bump up a weight class or something.
Dang, bro. That's crazy that you almost did it though.
Yeah, even to this day, like me and my dad joke about it. He's like, you remember when you overate during Thanksgiving? And then
yeah, those sodas add up.
Yeah, I remember that, and I was like, man, like that was just like me being like young, you know. Like obviously, like I look at for it now, I was like, man, what were you doing? But
yeah,
you live and learn, you know.
Yeah, it's good to look back on.
It was definitely something I learned by, and then ever since that happened, like, you know, shout out my dad, he became my nutritionist, you know, so I was always eating like, you know, chicken, broccoli, rice, really like limiting like my sodium intake to lose the water weight and all that. So that was like definitely interesting. So like that experience alone kind of changed it for me.
was gonna ask, do you have like a one like match you look back on where you were like fully locked in, just boom, like this was my match?
That's
like
good.
Your best match.
Best match, man. I mean, there's so many good matches. Like,
Right.
I have so much respect for the people I've gone against.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the teams I've gone against. I wouldn't say this is necessarily wasn't my best match, but I did wrestle some hammers. You know, some pretty good wrestlers.
Pretty big guys.
Yeah, I believe my freshman year I had a decent run. Made it to the postseason. I was a young buck, you know, like.
Yeah.
And one of my first like postseason matches, I ended up going against, like, I believe at the time he was like 2-time California state champion.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, it you know, definitely got whooped. You know, I mean, he whooped everybody that year.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, just that experience alone was like, man, like, it's a different ball game.
Right.
Different ball game, different experience. That was like kind of like my welcome to high school moment, because
hey, we all had those. Trust me. Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Those. Yeah. And then, do you watch college wrestling as well?
Of course I do. Yeah.
So, like, watching, you know, college wrestling, how do you see the landscape, like, in the NCAA?
Man, landscape in terms of like NIL or
In terms of like
the talent.
the talent, yeah. Like, is it like, what's the difference from like high school to college? Like, I'm sure there's a major gap. But what's that landscape look like when you truly get on the mat and like line up with these guys?
I feel like that's a good question. I mean, I retired before college. You know, I don't have limited, but just like watching like wrestling as a fan, it's kind of like the ones that have like a love for the sport. Not saying that I never had a love for the sport, but you kind of just know like who loves to wrestle and who doesn't.
I see that.
You have to have like a full-on passion for it. Like, you can't just do it for like what you gain out of it. You gotta do it for, like, you know, you
what
love
it gains
it.
out of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do it for the love of the game.
Yeah.
I
Pretty
like that.
much. I mean, as a fan, like, it's great to see all these California wrestlers though, like, you know, coming from, you know, 661, coming from 805, you know,
Right.
making impacts on the college campuses and all that. I think it's great to see.
Yeah. Especially here in town. Like, I feel like there's definitely a lot of local talent, you know. I know we bring guys from other schools, but there's some pretty good guys on the roster that are homegrown.
Oh, for sure, man.
So
The guys on the roster, you know, they're hammers too.
Yeah.
There's a reason why they're competing at this high level. So,
Right.
you know, kudos to them.
Yeah. That's what's up. Now tell me, let's bring it back to football, because I know you want to talk about some Bears action.
For sure.
Bears Packers.
Yeah.
Historical matchup.
Yeah.
December, I believe, right? They're playing.
Yeah. December 7th, I believe. Yeah.
December 7th.
Yeah, for sure.
With Micah Parsons now with the Graders. Don't you think the Packers have a little bit of an edge? With Jordan Love, I mean, like, don't get me wrong, Caleb Williams is a dog. But Jordan Love, Bakersfield talent, man, he's proved that he belongs in this league. You know,
for sure, yeah.
What are you thinking?
Man, you know, as a sports fan or as a bias fan?
Well, we can hear both takes.
I'll give my sports fan. I'll give the Packers some flowers, you know.
Okay.
Watching the Packers, you know, ever since I was like a 5 or 6 year old kid, they have such a great fan base. You know, the city of Green Bay, I've heard stories about it. You know, their fans are really passionate. You know, I mean, there's a reason why they've been around for so long. You know, you have Hall of Fame quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers, you know, Brett Favre, you know. They've probably had way more than that too, but, you know, Jordan Love's on the come up as well.
Come on.
I mean, this year, I think they're going to make a pretty big run. You know, I know a lot of Bears fans will not like me saying this, but I think they're going to make a run, you know, especially with them being atop of the division. You know, obviously it's not the greatest sight in the world, but I mean, they have like the talent to take it that far. Right. You know, I think that Jordan Love gets a lot of, no, I wouldn't say hate, but he gets a lot of criticism from the media. But I mean, I'm always gonna root for him.
I'm sure he would. He's a Valley kid, you know. I'm sure
of course,
we all get, you know.
Yeah, he's such a humble guy,
right.
you know. So the utmost respect for him.
Absolutely.
But, as a biased fan, I would love to see my Bears, sweep
Yes,
you
sir.
guys.
Oh, dang, sweep?
Sweep.
That's a big word right there. Get
Sweep.
the brooms out.
Sweep, win. But, I think it's arguably one of the greatest rivalries in sports. Like,
Honestly, yeah.
you have, like, rivalries like the Giants, the Dodgers, Yankees, Red Sox. If you want to talk about college football, Ohio State, Michigan. And then in football, like, when you talk about, like, how long the rivalry's been around and the connection, I think the greatest rivalry in sports is Bears and Packers.
Honestly, that's not a hot take. Like, I could, yeah, that's pretty valid. And when you really think about it, like, and how far it goes back, yeah, that's pretty safe to say.
And, yeah, and, like, I think both the teams are, like, traveling in, an upward trajectory. I would love to see the Bears play the Packers, Hopefully it's in Lambeau Field to, send you guys home.
Late in December, too. So it's going to be like these, might be clinched playoffs, might be fighting for playoffs.
Doesn't get any better than that.
Game. Yeah. That's cool. Hey, we got to watch it, brother.
Oh, for sure, man.
Gotta check it out.
For sure. Just like a friendly reminder, what's Caleb Williams' record in Lambeau Field? Out of 2025, what's his record?
You tell me.
I want to know.
Oh, my goodness. All right, we're going to change that, though.
Want to know.
We'll see who gets farther.
Want to know. But, like, all love, though. But, like, man, Micah Parsons, he's such a beast, dude.
Yeah, not for real. He's a dog.
Like, instant reaction. Like, I remember the day he got traded to the Packers. And shout out Jerry Jones. I don't know what you're doing, not Green Bay, with Dallas. But why are you trading to Green Bay? Why?
I don't know. But I'm not complaining.
He's such a beast. I've been watching Micah since he was on Penn State, and even with Dallas too. He's a dog.
Yeah.
He's a dog, and he's gonna give a lot of teams nightmares. But I think the Packers, I think they're doing pretty good this year. But hopefully my Bears do better. So we'll see.
We'll see, brother. We're gonna have to watch the game.
Yeah, for sure.
Check it out. We're running out of time here, but before we go, I want you to give some advice to the people. I feel you're pretty well spoken.
Yeah.
Let some people know, you're fourth year. If there's freshmen out here, people in the kinesiology field, or just, people who can relate to you, like, what's something that, you want to let the people know? Yeah,
I would say, advice, be the first person there, last person, out type of person. Be able to network with your peers, because you can learn a lot from different people. I think that's how I've learned and kind of adapted over my time here, is to, learn from others. Right. Stay out of trouble, do the right things. Have a why. Wake up with a why. Wake up with the purpose. I think purpose is really important.
I like that.
Every day. But honestly, just continue to focus on having that mindset of 1% better each day. Right. That's what I kind of apply myself every day, and fix the mistakes you got to work on, but just kind of having a positive mindset, because realistically not everything's going to go your way.
Right.
So, but being persistent, I think that's the biggest key. For sure.
Dang. Let me just fit some facts. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
My brother Jacob, thank you for coming on, bro. Really, it's been a pleasure.
Of course, man.
Listen, guys, if you want to sit on this chair right next to me, go on Instagram, click the link in the bio, fill out the form, and then we'll get back to you soon. In the meantime, like, comment, subscribe, share, and this is Running on the Air, guys. Deuces.